order, closed session earlier, so if you will now. Oh, yeah, see, that's why we have a clerk. Do I have a motion do I have a motion to come out of closed?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. We also have a motion to certify that we discussed only personnel in the closed session.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. Now we are fully reconvened to the public meeting, right? Okay. So this, I guess this will be my last time to do the pledge. Next month we'll have guests here, right?
Oh, I was there. I know. What's happening?
No, I mean, we normally have guests to lead us in the pledge, so unless anyone else wants to lead, I will lead us, all right? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our first item up is our consent agenda. You've all had the opportunity to read the meetings from our last general meeting. If there are no questions, do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All that oppose, the motion carries. Recognitions, Dr. Frazier.
Good evening, everyone. For recognitions, we don't have any formal recognitions for tonight. I would just like to thank everyone. Thank the school board for your support throughout the summer as we've been working together as a leadership team to prepare for the opening of school, and also just to our leadership team and to our division staff for all of the hard work that we've done, that you all have done with prepping our buildings, preparing for our staff, preparing for students, the wonderful convocation that we had last week. I just want to thank you. I know I cannot do my job without you all, so just thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. Presentations, summer project update.
So Mr. Miller will come to the podium and he will update us on the hard work that he has done along with his operations team this summer.
So I'm Brian Metter, Director of Operations for Facilities and Safety. Actually wasn't too often prepared to do this. Normally we take pictures of everything we do before and after. Slacked on that a little bit, but I will do the best I can with this. This is our update for the summer. We take old things and try to refurbish and reuse. These are cabinets at the elementary school. Sanded them down, fixed them, repaired hinges, whatever we could, paint them, put new hardware on them. This is the type of stuff we like to do in the summer. It saves a lot of money. And you can't buy this stuff anymore like this. It was made so well back then. Everything you get now is this kind of stuff. You know, I didn't have a good picture of this. We took some old cabinets and we started redoing those, and we couldn't stop them. We redid the entire room. So we painted the whole room, tore down any old network drops, any old conduit, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what we do in the summer. We'll start seeing stuff. And Dr. Frazier and Mr. Leach also come out and point out, hey, let's tear this out. Cool, let's tear it out. You know, let's redo it. Other things that we like to refurbish, we like to redo desks if we can. We've learned that you can buy that blackboard paint. And so sometimes teachers love that. You put it on an old metal desk, makes it look nice, and kids can write on it. We'll do that. Redo cabinets, doors, countertops, whatever we can do possibly inside to make it look really good and save a little money and have fun doing it. Our grounds tech, he is one guy maintaining 40 acres there. He does a very good job. He gets a little help from time to time, but honestly, he helps us too from time to time. He washes buses with us. He does work orders. In the wintertime, he comes inside and he will cover for custodians at a drop of a hat. I have no issue with him. Does a great job. Our custodians also help. They will come out there and pull weeds if they've got time. They'll help out in any way they can. They all work together, and that's the most awesome part of it. I hope that most of you have been down to this area. We did not get a good before picture. This is before the weight room in the high school where all those wooden cabinets were. We tore them out last week because we're making that into an area for the training. to put a bed down there to be closer to the kids so she can have, and that's actually bigger than what the picture leads to. We're gonna take the floor in there, but this was a last minute thing last week. It's pretty much ready to go for her. This was an old storage space. Everybody knows and loves Mr. Babargi. This was a little space inside of his classroom. So we took it all out, redid it, painted, cleaned it up. That's gonna be, I think, we'll have a teacher in there, probably April or someone, I'm not sure. That kind of thing. Did not get a before picture of this. This is also another storage room. Yes, it's another storage room now, but it's an athletic storage room. It used to be full of just old electronics and old whatever. So we tore it all out, painted it. Same deal we do with everything. We demo out anything that's old, not working, paint it all up, add shelves to it. So they're gonna hang, they being athletics. All their uniforms eventually will make their way into there. We're getting containers for all volleyballs, basketballs, everything except for your outdoor sports. Those need to be kept outside. But they'll be kind of similar to what a laundry cart or something would be in a hotel where you put everything in and you can roll it down instead of where is this at, where is that. So it's gonna be a lot more organized. Oh, I already did my video. Do I click it again or what do I do, Mr. Leach? There it goes. So this is the high school library. Luckily, Ms. Marinsky took this video and sent it to us in an email probably a month ago where I may not have anything. This is kind of the library after we started tearing it out. I'm sure everyone here has seen the library for the most part, except for Ms. Bird and a few of you. But this is kind of what it looked like before. Mine is all the cabinets. And you can see on the right-hand side that kind of tri-colored wall on the right. Well, that's a big metal wall and there's storage. So we decided that wall's gotta go. So there you go. That's how you do it. So we tore that wall down. Your picture on your right is everything completely bare in there. We stripped that thing down as far as we could. So that's the new carpet in place. We prepped everything like we do every space. So if we can get rid of old stuff, we get rid of it. That's actually our lawn care guy right there. Hey, I haven't met anybody else that can trim out like he can trim. So I'll go mow and he'll come trim. I'm fine with me. So I think he actually painted the majority of the library. So, and that's it. Fairly complete. So big difference from what it was. The elementary school is basically the same. We didn't want to add, I didn't want to bombard you with an hour. I could talk forever for what we do, honestly. That's why probably Dr. Fraser don't have any come to these. But, so anyway, there's other things that we do in the summer. Everybody knew we put a new roof on the elementary school. We can't claim a whole lot with that because they actually did it themselves. So we monitored it. We talked with them, but it's really nice to have that. It's going to be really nice for the teachers. It's going to be even really better for me to not have all these leaks everywhere. We also did the library as well as the elementary school. It's all been totally remodeled. It's similar to the high school, just smaller. All the custodians, every space in our schools, I can't say to other schools, but here every single piece of furniture is taken out. It's turned upside down. It is scrubbed from top to bottom. Not put in until it's checked. But the floors are done. We touch up paint. Everything we can do to make it the best we can make it. We have a new work order system in place. We've needed this, I've been here 23 years, so we probably needed it 25 years ago. It's an awesome new system. And all the teachers and staff got privy to this, last Thursday, Wednesday, something like that? They've written 74 work orders as of 4:15 this afternoon. But we're able to assign them. We can do so much with this system, it's unreal. We can assign them to different people. They can put them on their phones, tablets, desktops, whatever. They can answer, I can check it out. So out of the 74, we only have 6 pending right now. So we've answered all those, completed them. Now, bear in mind, some of them are need, I can't take a lot of credit, I need a zip tie, okay. Then others are, I need 20 tables put together. So it's a gamut of things. But it's going along real, it's going real well. There's no hiccups in it. We clean all the light fixtures. Pop them down, clean them, make sure the lenses are clean, all this and that. We change all the bulbs. Let's see. I put on there, we completely painted 6 rooms. So I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but we go through every room and touch up paint. We try to use the same exact paint. We have it on file so that we can always get the same color. So that's what we try to do. We always touch up all the blue on the door frames, all the inside classrooms. We probably missed one or two here and there, but we as a whole try to hit everything. And this is the end of it. We couldn't do this without these people. Sandy is my assistant. She handles a lot of stuff and helps. So we have a lot of stuff to do with fire code, HRSD, your asbestos stuff, your lead testing, not to mention just custodial stuff, maintenance stuff. We have quite a bit. Philip is our grounds tech. He also does maintenance stuff. Jennifer Kirkland, she's day shift, but she's more so than that. She drives buses anytime that she needs to drive a bus. She will work events. She can put things together. She can paint. She can do everything. Jacqueline's our day shift at the high school. She's just started a few months ago. She's been a big help. Melvin Banks, of course, has been there forever. He's our night supervisor. Melvin can do a lot of different things. He is a big help in the summer. He can paint also. He can put things together. Scotty Bennett was a good hire. He's been there a few months. He's an ex-builder, and it shows. If you give him a project, he loves tedious projects. If you want him to go build a door, he'll build a door, and he'll build it out of scrap. If you need a plate cut for something, he'll go cut a plate out of an old filing cabinet. And before you know it, he's drilled it, sanded it down, and you have a nice plate that covers them that looks like you bought. Chastity Hayden just started with us not long ago. She was a cafeteria monitor. Now she's the night shift, and she does an excellent job. She's very good. And then Kelvin came from King and Queen, I believe. He's been with us for a couple years. He's an excellent cleaner at night. Gives you no problems whatsoever. Eager to do anything in the world you ask. And finally, but not least, is Jonathan Hansen. Worked with us once before. Left, thought the grass was greener somewhere else. Realized it was not. Came back. And he's been great. He will do anything we ask. But we couldn't have the success we do. We don't have, I'm the really only true maintenance person. I can't do this myself. They all have skills that you just got to figure out what they have. They all can do something other than clean. And it's awesome. They do a great job. So that's it, basically. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer anything if I can. I'll make it up if I can.
I want you to go back and talk about one thing that was on your slide that you missed.
You want to go back, Pat?
Go back.
Yeah.
All right, go forward one more. Go forward to the list of.
Oh,
So talk about the successes that you all have had with the football field.
they didn't put it on there either. Oh, it was
Yeah,
on
it's
there
a-
one time.
So talk
It's
talk
there.
a little bit about that.
So the-
Professional chemical treatment contract.
Oh, I did skip it, I'm sorry. Okay, so this goes back a few years ago, but we never used to maintain football fields ourselves. We always had a company come mow it. That's basically all we did. And that's all it was mowed. When we decided to take over all the landscaping ourselves, we inherited the football field. Wasn't sure what we were supposed to do with it, so we just mowed it. That's what everybody else did, was mow it. And it still looked bad. We trusted in a company to come treat the field. But it still kind of had the same results. We're paying a lot of money to have the same results. We struggle with this. We ourselves, in-house, we added topsoil, we planted grass, anything we could think of, and we realized that this is just not gonna work. So Dr. Frazier suggested a company, and I'm very grateful. It's Commonwealth Turf. And he came in about probably 8 months ago or something like that, and suggested a whole plan of action, where he actually tested the soil, found out what we needed, found out we have a ton of sodium in our ground, wants to know where our water came from. We get water reports from the town, all this. He's come up with a system that even Jack Lawson will tell you, it's the best he's seen that filling in. Now, there's times where it looks a little browner, but that's because he's treated for the invasive grass and it'll kill it out. But the Bermuda has literally started to just choke out, to the point where we're mowing it 3 times a week, and it's probably not even enough now. I've never seen such a thing. We also have a professional company doing our sprinklers now, which we did not have in the past. They come out once a month, we have a contract with them, it's not a lot, and they ensure that everything's working right. So you're gonna have water, you're gonna grow. So far, I think it's been an amazing result. We used to have a line right to the 50-yard line, and you can attest to that, I'm sure, that was always bare, because we had drainage issues, and that was all dug up at one time, never filled in. No matter what anybody did, never filled in, it's filled in now. If you walk the top of the bleachers and look, it's completely filled. I'm sure we have a scrimmage game Friday if anybody wants to go, but you'll see. It is filled in. You're going to see. We need something. We need a grass catcher at this point. We're realizing, wait a minute, we're mowing so much, we can't get rid of the grass. So, but we're getting there, and it looks really nice. So, and the scoreboard was painted. By the way, it's done. That's nothing I had done. That was the old athletic director, but it was amazing. It was really good. So, you're very welcome. That it?
What is a grass catcher?
We used to have one you could pull, no, it's okay, we used to have one you could pull behind a mower, cause that kinda worked for us because of leaves. But they just don't last for commercial, we didn't realize that, we beat that thing to death in just a matter of months, I mean, like, really beat it to death. We're probably, and Dr. Fraser and I have talked about it, we're looking into it. The Commonwealth first suggested that get a dedicated mower for the football field. He says, every time you mow something else, you're bringing in that seed from whatever you did, and you're bringing it on there, and that's where you're getting all that invasive grass. We're like, oh, okay. So Dr. Fraser bought us a mower just for the football field. That actually did work. A lot of that stuff went away, it was fine. We're getting into, this is our first real summer having it grow like this. We never had to have a grass catcher before, so now it's getting where we think we're gonna have to start bagging it to get it off that field. So that's what it is.
Okay.
Some kind of bagger system.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Mhm.
That's it, that's easy. Y'all have anything else?
How about something harder?
No, I'd just say thanks, Brian. We know summer's your go time, right?
Yeah. But we
Buildings
like
are
it.
empty, but I think, you know, you and your staff's
We have awesome staff.
care of our facilities shows, and it helps with our pride too, like. I think
It does,
everyone in our
because
system
when this
takes
started
pride.
way many.
We're not gonna build a new school.
Right,
And we gotta take care of what we've got, so I think you guys do an awesome
Yeah,
job
thank
for that, we appreciate that.
well, appreciate it, thank you. All righty,
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, library was awesome.
Library looks great.
that's cool.
I was
We
thinking
did the
on
prep
first
work
one.
before. Take credit for the furniture, but we did the prep work before.
Thank you, Brian.
You're very welcome. Thank
Brian
you.
gets to work at 6 a.m., so he might leave.
Yeah, I might, well, my son's in from the airport, so I might swing him over.
Yeah.
There you go.
Have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Hauser, school opening update.
School opening update. This is really,
We're opening.
yes, so, yeah, yes, Mr. Diggins, we are going to open.
Go.
But our official opening for the 23-24 Welcome Back was on August the 3rd, where Dr. Fraser planned an amazing day for us. None of us knew what to expect. He would let us help. He did it all on his own. We had team building and work sessions, and he let us know how much we were appreciated and how much he knows about each of us. But it was great. We even had activities to do on the bus. So we headed up to Henrico to a historic location that had a wonderful meeting space, and we worked all day on leadership activities and making great plans for our teachers and students for the year. So here's some action photos. That's Dr. Scott Baker, who's there, who led us in some planning on and school culture activities. And there we are. Doesn't look like we are, but we're not just staring at a fountain. We are. We were having an actually pretty robust discussion after, weren't we? We were. And then those are our school improvement teams. So the elementary team is on the left, and the middle school, high school team is on the right. And they work to review data and set some goals and look more closely at what needs to be improved. Because even if you're at the top of the top, there's still room to go. So we had a great time working together. So next up, then on August the 7th, Monday, which seems like it was like 3 weeks ago, but it was actually just last week. On Monday, we had our new faculty orientation. So the group is there on the left. I know last year I said we probably wouldn't have a group quite as big as we did, but we had 17 participants, with a few more joining us post-orientation. But there we are for our classroom activities. And then on the right is our visit to the Historical Society Museum in West Point. So there's one of our new SPED preschool teachers, Jennifer Brown, and she's there with a picture of her grandfather, Mr. Brown. And so she didn't know that exhibit was in there. So that was her face when I said, take a picture with your grandpa. And then these are just some more pictures of our new people as we toured the museum. We were at the museum for about 45 minutes, but I liked these pictures because it really, we were able to really reach our new faculty with how special a place West Point is and some of the unique history that makes it what it is. And so it was cool to see them really paying attention and looking over everything. And I made Renee Shannon put her head on that room hotel picture, but anyhow, the terminal, so. And then I was making people do all kinds of stuff. So, and then that's the picture of the total group before we moved on, but we were able to do handle with care training, and they were able to hear from all of our department heads who gave presentations. And do some getting to know you activities, but really a fabulous group of people. It's always sad to see people go. It's always sad, but it's great when you have new, fresh ideas. It was like, pure oxygen coming into the room. So there they are. They're cute too. Convocation. So we started out the day, and I think most of you were able to join us for the day. So convocation. I hope you all felt the same, but it really felt exciting and lively and motivated, and it just was really good energy in the room. So our Mayor Lawson was there to give us some words of welcome back, and then we had Michelle McQueen Williams come and do a fabulous presentation for us, which made us all laugh hysterically and work really hard together at the same time. We also had, for the 2 weeks, this week and last week, we had robust professional learning, so that was integrated into our convocation day as well. So teachers and instructional staff were able to pick from 7 sessions, and teachers and administrators, thank you, were able to lead sessions on areas of expertise and interest, and were able to report back on conferences that they attended over the summer. And so our faculty, signed up for those sessions. And then we came together for an amazing lunch and had recognitions and retirement pins and very inspirational speeches by our leaders. And it was kind of Ms. Dockery's debut too in front of everyone. So it was just a really cool day where we got to work and brainstorm and do some more thinking and planning and team building. So here we are in some teams. And then I was trying to get a wide angle on my cell phone, but anyhow, but you can see we're up, moving around, talking to each other, getting to know each other. I think the buildings are much closer than they've ever been before too, as far as our cross-building work together, which is actually super exciting to see. And then we had special recognition. So Amy Saunders got her 25-year pin, and I don't know if it was right, might find me and punch me if I talked about how many years she's had too, but anyhow, and you can see there's Dr. Frazier too, and Mr. Youth and Mr. Evans. So that it's always nice to recognize people. And then tomorrow we have a big day. We have open house. So we're starting out in the morning with pre-K and K open house, and then working hours. We're having a special dedicated time for our faculties to visit their children's classrooms for an hour, kind of right before the public is welcome. And then special attention for our 6th graders transitioning in and new students. And then open house from 2 to 5, and then food trucks a little longer this year from 3:30 to 6. And we have some students who are willing to take orders and run back and forth for faculty who are staying in their rooms and talking to parents and stuff so they don't starve to death. And then our community pep rally at 6:30. So yes, so the Magic Makers. So these are our staffs, and they're amazing people. I call them the Magic Makers, and happy and working and excited about the year. So maybe we're sitting on a chair for the picture on the right, or maybe not. And our theme for this year is Aligning for Excellence, where we're still focused in on relationships, innovation, and excellence, but we're also making sure all of those areas are aligned, because we've been doing a lot of work, and COVID kind of threw us off a little, and we're just taking some time to go back and make sure we're all on the same page with instruction and communication and relationships behavior. So aligning for excellence, we're gonna hit the top. And so that's it. So that's just the highlights. We also have division professional learning going on every day, and building level professional learning happening every day. I know I attended Ms. Bird's instructional presentation, which was fabulous, breath of fresh air, and then I'm going to Ms. Britt's presentation on Thursday. So great things are happening. I'm super proud of our staff and our leaders, and it's just like a really exciting time to be a Poynter. So Any questions? I might explode when I see the kids. Like on Monday when the kids get there, it's gonna be like, whoa. But when we see everybody tomorrow, it's gonna be whoa too. So exciting. So it's exciting. I need to see everyone. This bird will be meeting 1,000 people tomorrow.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Any
Warm up the
questions?
handshake.
Yeah, warm up your hand. Yeah. Any questions about anything we've done or you've heard, or any questions about tomorrow? I'm glad you got it all. All right. Well, now I'll introduce Arlita Dockery, who's going to give us a staffing update. We're also known as the A team, by the way. Sorry about your luck having an A name with me.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share some highlights from our human resources department, and just working forward to communicate where we are right now with our hiring process. So at a glance, we have a lot to cheer about. There are our West Point Pointer cheerleaders, because we have been very successful this hiring season. We could not have done this work without the people in the room. Everyone pitched in before I arrived and even after I arrived to make sure that we had what we needed for our students. It is wonderful to know that this group has always kept the students at the center of all of their decisions, and not just said, well, we have to put that on the back burner because we don't have an HR director. They took it into their own hands to get it done. So we hired 10 elementary faculty staff members, 9 in the secondary, high school, middle school level, and then 1 at the school board office. So it's amazing to know that we've secured 20 staff members and only 1 more left to go. And a possible, something that we have to work through, but it's going to be okay. Tomorrow we even have an interview lined up for an interventionist. And so we're really excited about that, getting all of our pieces of our puzzle together and just not giving up. So innovation, relationships, and excellence, that's also very important in human resources as well. And our theme, looking at our strategic plan in those 3 areas. So with innovation, we want to make sure that we highlight our frontline system that has been very instrumental in helping us. I know we came on board with that probably in the spring of the year, and it has been very helpful to allow us the opportunity to recruit and also generate a pool of applicants even before we have an opening. So you may see from time to time those hard to fill jobs. We will continue to post those just so we can do a collection or a pool of applicants. So when we have an opening, it'll be easier for us to pull from those names. Also, relationships are important, of course, in HR, because all of our team members were at the table and conducting interviews, and so this gave our employees a first glance and an opportunity of the work that we do in West Point and how much of a family we are and how big we are on relationships. To know that the superintendent is in your interview and the assistant superintendent is in your interview means a lot to employees as they come into a school division. Also, of course, excellence. We know that we pride ourselves in making sure that our employees have the best opportunity for retention, that we want to keep them here. We are going to continue to work through building that relationship with the stay interview that will come up this fall, where we did some work at leadership, where our leaders highlighted those people in their buildings who have a very strong skill and also a very strong will. So I will be talking to them first to figure out just how we can capitalize on what they love about West Point and what keeps them coming back to work each day. So once that information is out there, we can share it and we can replicate it for all of our employees. So having a good work-life balance is very important. Making sure that our employees have very clear and supportive communication all the time is important. Just a few things that I've learned so far. And then making sure that we have the opportunity to develop our employees as well. That goes a long way with all of our employees. When you heard Brian talk about someone who at one point was a bus driver and now has come onto the team with him to utilize that skill a little differently. That means a lot when we can really look within us to grow our own employees. So we hope to continue that. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Doctor. You have done a phenomenal job in your short time here, and we are grateful for the work that you're doing.
All right, next up, reports. Cell phone policy update.
Okay, here we go. Come on.
I'm coming.
Okay, so I will leave in your packet, you have the results of our survey. At the, July meeting, you asked, or Dr. Frazier asked me to, find a way to poll the middle school, high school faculty about the cell phone policy. So, using, surveys from surrounding areas and some best practice and some repetitive questioning, we sent the form out and it was, filled out by most everyone. I think many faculty and staff met with us and we made some, comments on that. I don't think I have anything on the slide about that because you all have it in your packet. So the two things that faculty said to me, that really isn't on the survey is they said that some of the policy could be up for interpretation as far as, I know Ms. Ball had said about instructional time and being able to use the phone between class changes, but then students were using it like on their way to the bathroom and repeatedly going out. So faculty was concerned about that time between classes and in the hallway. And then the second thing was that they shared that they felt that they were inconsistent in their enforcement of the policy and that leadership wasn't always consistent, that there was a little bit of vagueness. So my thought would be that, you know, we have a new principal who's still in the single digits as far as her days being with us. We're both here to answer any questions and address any concerns, but I don't wish to interpret the data. You have it in front of you to look at and decide. So, but we're here if you'd like to put input.
The most telling piece of data to me was we had 40-some respondents, and of the 40-some, the last slide that you gave us, I think there were 38 responses, and it said too lenient, which of course, that's
Well, and the one where it's, our faculty enforces the cell phone policy consistently, 82% said no. So, yeah. It's a big chunk.
So if the board is looking for my thoughts and my recommendation, I believe that we're in a situation where we have a new principal and we need to allow our new principal to get in there and do some things differently. Allow her to put some structures in place and allow her to be able to work with the staff on enforcing the policy that's in place and being able to build on that with students in the school. And let's see how this goes. And then we can come back if we then say that we need a stricter policy. But I truly believe that the enforcement piece is what was getting us last year. The consistency there, and I think that Ms. Bird will come to the table and will bring a different approach to that. And she can speak to that as well.
That's the message I've been getting from the faculty as well, is to, being firm, fair, and consistent in all matters of discipline. And that's really important to the staff, that's important to me. And the students need the firm, fair consistency in any area. The only recommendation that I would make, as I've been talking to staff as well, is that hallway piece lends itself to a little bit more open interpretation. So for example, students they're in class, they know they can use their cell phone in the hallway, so can I go to the bathroom? you know, I don't have problems with them using that lunch. Lunch is the one time of day that kids get to, you know, talk to their friends. That'd be a great time to check and see if mom needs something or if my practice has changed or whatever. But to say classroom, you can't use it, but in the hallway you can, to me, that's part of that inconsistency, to close that gap, and to perhaps say that, you know, when the first instructional bell rings, no cell phones until you go to lunch. And that helps with some of that monitoring in the hallways. But again, it is an enforcement, and I've, you know, the faculty and I have spoken about how you take a student's cell phone, how it gets to the, because some of them are very nervous about that. So we're implementing some things for them to feel more comfortable in taking a cell phone, getting into the office. But it does, there's not been a lot of consistency across the board. So that has to be implemented. I personally feel like the hallway is one of the trip ups, because if I'm 16 and I wanna go check on somebody, I'm gonna go to the hallway because I'm loud and use my cell phone and get out of instructional time. But again, lunch, you know, our students need their time in lunch. That's part of their social networking now. That's just the way they are. And that's a great time to say, you know, if they're, you always hear, I just need to check with my mom and we'll do that at lunch. You know, you have lunchtime to do that kind of thing. So definitely working on the consistency piece, not just in the cell phone enforcement, but across the board. The faculty recognizes their need to be a part of that as well. So.
I love that you talk about practicing, because sometimes when you're doing something that you've never done before, even as an instructor, you need that practice, so I love hearing you talk about that.
So how does the policy reads right now as no cell phones during instruction? Is that correct?
Right, during instructional time, and I
Okay.
don't have the.
But it doesn't have the caveat in there of the hallway.
Does it say in the hall?
It does. It says students in grades 6 through 12 may exercise the privilege during class changes and lunch periods. So I think, you know, they know that class change is open season on the cell phone, and the problem with that, and you know, if I was a teenager, would I take advantage of that? Oh, absolutely. You know, I'm in the hallway, I'm gonna slowly get to class while I check this, that, and the other, or something's going on, so let me get out of class so I can get in the hallway, because what a lot of the teachers have said is the kids know hallways, you can't fuss at them. And so when they leave class to go to the hallway or the bathroom, it leaves the teachers a little bit, they don't really have the authority to say, give me your cell phone, because of the way that's written. So, I mean, that would be my only recommendation. I think that would help staff become more consistent, because it's like, are you in class? Has the bell rung? Is the tardy bell rung? Where are you? So, you know, from 8 o'clock till the end of the school day, no cell phones unless you're in lunch. Where you can, you know, check your social media, chat with mom, you know, pick me up some Subway on the way home, whatever you need to do in lunch, because we all do that. You know, that's how we all function. I think that's fair, but I think that would help with the consistency among the staff as well. It's just easier to say, we're not gonna have this in class or in the cell or in the hallway. And we will, you know, I've looked over the consequences. You know, I feel like we need to, like Dr. Fraser said, we kind of need to get used to enforcing what we have and be consistent with that we have. And if we need to make any changes, we can. But, you know, we need to look at that, so.
So we do need to change the policy. We need to strike out.
If the board wants to do that, we can do that tonight. So we can move that to an action item, and have a motion be made to amend the policy to add, during class, to make a blanket statement to say, no cell phones during the day except for during lunch.
Was your feel that faculty is wanting the enforcement of the cell phone policy? Like, your feeling is that they're on board with being strict with it?
They do, and I think, in my conversation with them, they recognize that they are a piece of that puzzle as well. But I think the way that the policy is written in our UN classroom, you in the hall, there's just too many places, when you're a teacher and, when you're in your busy day, like, has the bell rung, is the tardy bell rung? Because teenagers are going to be specific. No, tardy bell hasn't rung yet. So I'm on my time kind of thing. And so I think that just makes it easier for classroom teachers to enforce, which is what we want them to do, and to be consistent.
And if that is the will of the board, I can fully support that. The only thing that I will say is also when looking at the data, the teachers report a lot that they use their cell phones during instruction. And I think that also can send some mixed messages that, well, my teacher's saying this teacher's saying we can use it for a class assignment. So instead of me using my Chromebook, I'm going to use my cell phone to do an assignment. I think that also needs to be the message to our staff that we have a one-to-one program in this school division, and so we need to push the use of our Chromebooks and not the use of cell phones during instructional time, because we don't want to send mixed messages to teenagers.
And they do have the Chromebooks available. There's really nothing that they need a phone out for if they have their Chromebook or if they have their, their own laptop. And so, and part of this is training. It's going to be training the students. It's going to be, training staff. We're just going to have to work on being consistent across the board.
So our policy says currently the only place you can use it is during class changes, right?
It says during class changes and lunch periods.
We struck out the during class.
And we've got feedback from teachers. Have we gotten feedback from parents or a change to the policy like this? I'm just curious if you've got any.
I haven't solicited any parental feedback. I do know, when dealing with parents, especially at the middle and high school level, I think, even with our consequences, we have to be careful because the cell phones are used a lot when students after school are doing activities. Or if a child has to go home and their parents at work. So doing a blanket no cell phones, I don't think is wise, given the fact that a large portion of our school population, they live elsewhere, and that's a safety issue in my book. And so I think parents would appreciate the fact that at lunch, if there's a schedule change at home or somebody else is picking you up, that can certainly convey through the front office or at lunchtime to your student. And they certainly have their access to their cell phones when the school day is over for whatever, for safety reasons, for going home, games. We just live in that day and age where, if I had children still in high school, they have a phone for the games, for where you're headed. You just want that element of communication.
So I think that being consistent with faculty and students, you also have to be consistent with parents, as a parent myself. So if you cave, so to speak, right, and I'm all about parental rights, so nobody get on me because I'm a parent and I have kids, but there's also a line where you have to recognize and respect the rules and the authority of the school and of the rules that are in place. So I think we make it very clear, this is when your student can have their phone out, and we are, you're supporting the teachers and we're supporting administrators in holding that line. Parents, and I think it's gonna be fewer than y'all think, because parents I talk to, they're like, take my kid's phone, just take it. Like, I'm the same way, take my kid's phone, if she's on it, she shouldn't be, take it. So I think if we're consistent and very clear, and like you said, okay, lunchtime you can check to see if your parents texted you.
And it's a matter of instruction. I don't think any parent, and the way I like to explain it, in their instructional day, they are at school for instruction. They need to be focused on what's happening in class, not on Instagram, not on Snap. Lunchtime is their time, and we respect that. You know, if they're not misusing it, they're not causing all kinds of trouble, let them have their time with their friends and check your social media and check in with mom and dad or grandparents or whomever. I respect that, you know, and I respect the fact that they're gonna need it after school for communication, but we are at school to learn. And very few parents, that's what we're here for. And, you know, they want their child to get an education, not a distracted one. So, most parents I've talked to too, over my administrative career, like, please say, I've had parents throw phones on my desk and say, keep it till the end of school.
Please.
Just, if you keep it, I don't have to have that fight. Okay, I got you, you know, I'll keep it on here. So I don't really think that's gonna be a big issue.
Now, one thing I would say is that I applaud, honestly, the firm, fair, and consistent approach that you're taking. And in that same spirit, to not put some language in place that is gonna create ambiguity or tie your hands in this next chapter. Could you rephrase what you anticipate would be the most appropriate language for what you're trying to accomplish?
So I think, you know, cell phones are not permitted out. You could get specific from the beginning of the instructional day till the end, which is, you know, the bell to bell, except for at lunch. And that's, you know, because an instructional day is, you know, when that bell rings for you to be seated to class, till the bell rings for you to go home. No cell phones out, except for at lunchtime.
Do we also need to include Apple Watches, smartwatches? Because you can sit there, I can sit on my watch, and I can text, and I can.
Well, they can use a MacBook too,
That's
for
right,
their
yeah.
one-to-one device and have their
Yes,
instant messages,
yes,
their
you can.
text message come in too.
I don't know how deep of a dive.
Yeah.
Because teachers, we don't also want to put the teachers
Yeah.
in the place where they're policing every, you know, everybody show them your wrist,
Yeah.
you know. That can get sticky, and part of it is you've got to teach children appropriate use of their technologies. You know, especially when sometimes as adults we go places and you have adults do, you know, not necessarily modeling that good behavior.
So if that will be the desire of the board to move that to an action item, then we can do that. But then from the school side, we will have to put out communication ASAP tomorrow
Yes.
on, send out communication to families, put it on social media, like parents need to know what the decision is moving forward.
Yes, sir.
That school starts on Monday.
And I will say the staff, because we talked about this, so they were anxious to get their open house stuff ready. And so I sent them an email that on their syllabus and communication to put a note under cell phones that the school board would be discussing this tonight and there are potential changes. So we can blast out changes first thing in the morning, but just so you know that the teachers left that door open in their communication, that there could be potential changes and that we'd be communicating those if they occurred. So.
So we would need a motion to move it to an action item. And then once we get to action items, we can take action before we take action.
I make a motion that we move the cell phone policy update discussed into an action item.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All that oppose, motion carries. Mr. Leach, do we want to make that action item F?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Next up, items under study are VSBA policy updates. I think in the same vein of the cell phone policy, unless there's any other updates to the updates, I think the plan was to move this to an action. We have a full board here tonight, so we shouldn't have a tie vote. Unless anyone wants to discuss now, we can discuss now or discuss as discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All that opposed, the motion carries. So Mr. Leach will make that G. Very good. All right. And on to our action items. First up, our expenditures and revenue reports. Any questions?
I see questions and I have provided the board member with the answers to those questions.
No other questions. Do we have a motion to approve the expenditures and receive our revenue reports?
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, the motion carries. Cafeteria expenditures.
So I also received, one question about that, and so I will be working with the school nutrition manager to provide, a plan for funds and spending funds.
If there's no other questions, do we have a motion to approve the cafeteria expenditures?
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second, any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All that oppose, motion carries. Personnel, we had closed to discuss some personnel. Any other questions? If not, we have a motion to approve the personnel recommendations.
So moved.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, the motion carries. Donations. Couple donations. I did have one question. Is that my donation? That's from my volunteer money. Okay. That's okay. Just want to make sure. It's better than the other capital ones.
You like rumble with them.
Yeah, well, I was just,
It's my turn.
like last year, they never got the check, so.
Oh, no.
So that's good. So, my employer has a volunteer program. Since I'm a volunteer board member and volunteer coach, I can log my hours, and a portion of my hours they will pay, like it's like $1 per hour, I don't know, but they send a donation to whatever charity I choose. I choose my schools.
That's great.
That's
double month.
lovely.
There we go, so.
That's lovely.
Motion to approve the donations.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All that oppose, motion carries. Consider approving homeschool student requests.
So you have the list of homeschool students, before you, and so we just have to have board approval, for those families to homeschool their children.
Any other questions about the homeschooling? Not, do I have a motion to approve the homeschool student requests?
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. And now our cell phone policy update. So we have before us, I guess, the desire to change our policy to not allow cell phones in hallways. Is that basically what we're trying to do?
Can I get the exact wording? We'll need an exact motion for what the desire is.
As I understood it, please correct me if I'm wrong, that the students are not permitted to use cell phones during instructional time during the day except during lunch.
Well, so that's the motion, or you're asking what the understanding is of our policy?
No, I was making a motion,
that was-
and it was essentially a question of, did I hear it correctly?
Well, I guess, so we're considering class changes hallways as instructional time.
Yes.
I understand.
Okay. And that's what we feel we need better enforce cell
Be
phones.
consistent.
Yeah, I mean, my only comment would be, I feel like it's a, I won't say an extreme step,
feel like we could still accomplish enforcing that, with our existing policy, but if that's what the teachers think we need, then, I'll support it. All right, so you have the wording we need.
So students are not permitted to use cell phones during the instructional day with the exception of lunch.
Correct. All right, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Like,
We have a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
So we'll work with the school to make sure that communication goes out regarding that.
Okay, for good conversation.
And we will update the student code of conduct to reflect that as well.
All right. VSBA policy updates. I think we've only got the one. Is that what's left?
Just the one policy.
Yeah, the management of staff. All right. Plenty of time. Is there any other discussion on the VSBA policy update? If not, do I have a motion to approve the management of funds VSBA policy update as submitted?
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second, any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All that opposed?
Nay.
Okay, Mr. Leach, you have what you need, motion carries.
We will have additional policy updates from, that we will have for next month.
For review.
I believe.
That's all our action items, right, Mr. Leach?
So,
Keep me honest here. All right.
we're not even on paper.
Okay, so we had some informational items.
So for informational, you have the items that are in your packet, but you also have some additional items that were at your seat this evening. So you do have a flyer for our open house and back to school bash that will take place tomorrow. And so we look forward to seeing board members there. You also have, the first draft piece of the facility study that was done. As soon as I get confirmation on the timeline for the next set of deliverables, I will send those out to board members. And I also had sent an email today asking that when this is all said and done, that they come back and they do a presentation to the board, because there will be questions that they are the experts in, and they'll be questions, you all will have questions for them. And so I think that it's gonna be important that you all are able to ask them your questions directly. Absolutely. You also have, the draft of, you have the model policies, for ensuring the privacy, dignity, and respect of all students and parents in Virginia schools that came out from PDOE and the governor's office. This is the information that we just received, and so it is on the agenda for next month. We will take this document and we will draft the policy based on this document. And so this will also be in your packet for review, and we'll talk about some of the highlights from this policy at our September meeting. But that was all I had for information.
Delegations.
You know how it is.
All right, future agenda items, we got advisory committee recommendations, gifted program update, and the VDOE model policies, as Dr. Frazier just referenced.
We will also add indoor track to that.
Oh, indoor track.
Indoor track for our September meeting. So we can have an official vote from the board to move forward with indoor track.
All right.
Also, I know Mr. Leach was trying to collect meeting dates. We will need to secure a meeting date for the strategic plan to get back together as a group with Dr. Baker. And because, in the original planning, like we thought we were gonna be able to present the final draft of the strategic plan in September. I've talked to Dr. Baker, we're just gonna move that back to October. Like, I'm not thinking that opening school was in the middle of all of this. So we will meet with the board, try to do a work session with the board in September, and then at the October meeting, come back with the final draft of the updated strategic plan.
We have 4 yeses and 1 no for Wednesday the 20th.
Wednesday, the 20th.
September 10th.
That was mine, yeah, I'm traveling there.
So we can take these back to Dr. Baker and see if there's other options, or we'll see what we just do.
Yeah, I mean, if that's your only day, I'm comfortable with the group doing it without the other. It's tough, we gotta get it done, so.
Let me email Dr. Baker tomorrow just to make sure, and then we'll send out communication for members to let everybody. Because something like the strategic plan, it was helpful when everybody was able to be here, because you want all of the perspectives, so, Mr. Lee Drive will be in contact with you about the date.
Ms. Braxton, are you available on Wednesday, November 15th?
What did I say?
You didn't love the plan.
I said nothing.
That was what I wanted to think about. What is the date?
Wednesday, the 15th of November.
No pressure.
No, if I had you said mostly evening.
This will be for the November board meeting. Because we had, right now it's scheduled for the week of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So it looks like we can move the November board meeting to the 15th. And then we would move the December meeting to the 14th, which is a Thursday.
And that one's at 4, the December one.
I think it's usually 3:30.
3:30.
Get clarification on top of it, a little closer.
And the 15th one, is that still 6?
Yes.
The school do 5 o'clock closed session.
Do you want to put that, do we need to change that as an action item, or is that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think we just have to notify the public within a certain amount of time.
Alright, so we'll update that on our website, and we'll also post it here at the school office. Another thing that I did not share during informational, but I did share in an email that we are currently working through a 3-month trial period with the Donovan Group. The Donovan Group is helping us with communications, and so, if some of you all have seen, additional posts on our Facebook page. We have the school countdowns, like they're helping us with graphics, they're helping us with messages, they are doing an audit of our website. They're doing an audit of our communications in general for the school division. And so, we're looking to see if we want to, continue on with their services. I think that there are definitely some benefits. You know, most school divisions in 2023 have a true communications officer, communications department, someone that's truly dedicated for that. And when we look at that piece on the excellence piece, that innovation piece, and those pieces in our strategic plan, and we also look at being transparent with our community and making sure that folks are informed and they know what's going on. I think that this can be an asset. So we're going to see what they're able to do over these next few months, and then we'll see if it's something that we can use like some rollover funds to continue to pay for. But I'm so far had a few quirks just because they're learning our style. But we've been able to work through that, and we've put together and put out some really good documents for us, some really good graphics and communication. So.
I was wondering, I was like, who is that central office that is so on top of the Facebook post? I was pretty impressed.
And so we also so that's one reason why Dr. Hauser was in Facebook jail, because we're trying to they are able to do the posts for us,
Yeah.
but we just needed to be able to get some of that stuff cleaned up. But right now, Dr. House, they've been creating the posts, Dr. House has been posting them.
You can tell the ones that are mine.
But also we just this evening, Ms. Dockery has created a Twitter account and Instagram, and so we will be together communications to roll that out. That will probably go out on the first day of school, so folks can also go and follow us on those other social media platforms. So that folks can see the great things that we're doing here. I'm done.
Double A.
All right, next meeting is the 19th at 6. Anything else? I have a motion to adjourn. We're adjourned.